Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your relevant host, Shotty. And today, because it's been a while, we're going to review a Batman comic book because he's quite cool. People should read Batman stuff. DC should really commit to the character, I think. He's got legs. So we're going to be talking about it. Mostly, I've got to be honest, because I realized Derek Robertson was doing the artwork for it. I can take or leave Batman sometimes. And this gave me at least an opportunity to talk about the difference between ongoing Batman series and self-contained miniseries, which is kind of cool. And also just get so you go read Derek Robertson stuff. He's a really good artist. The two things he does very, very well are faces and facial expressions. Like he adds meaning and emotion to them with such a depth that I think any writer or artist would wish they could do. And he does darkness and close-up disturbing things really effectively too. We're going to probably, hopefully, see more of that in the second and third parts of this. For now, it's mainly just the chance you get to see him draw really cool versions of Alfred and Gordon and Bullock and all the classic kind of characters. He's very, very good at it. He does a really good Batman. He gets the kind of like dark, grim thing of it really effectively. But also, he doesn't just dwell in that darkness unnecessarily. The shots of Batman in his the Batcave are spectacular. But when you see him out fighting crime, he looks fantastic. It's dynamic and full of motion, and it's exactly what you want to have a good comic book. And the fact that this is a self-contained miniseries means you do get to see the characters that you don't get to see very often. Like Alfred, who's now dead. He's in here, so that's yay, cool. Gordon is commissioner. Bullock is around causing him grief. And you got more classic versions of Joker and Penguin in. Sorry. Joker and Penguin in there as well. So you do get like greatest hits kind of things. Which is one of the reasons why I think I still like the idea of self-contained miniseries. Anyone who's doing a big ongoing canonized or canon story will always try to redesign the wheel, put their own little spins on it, and make sure that years down the line people remember their work as the one that did this thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it was a big deal when Batman had his back broken, but now it just means Bane turns up every once in a while. Whereas Superman, like everyone finding out that he's actually Clark Kent, that does seem to have maintained throughout, and I think it's going to carry on being a very interesting way of telling stories. Now he's dead, I mean, who knows? But still interesting and fun. This at least is just within that kind of classic sphere, and it means it can tell more of a classic story. And it does do some kind of cool classic things. You have Batman fighting crime and being a detective and discovering this major over-the-top thing that's happened. And interestingly, also leads into the idea that in big over-the-top situations like this, maybe Superman should come and help. But Superman isn't around. Now, I've read a couple of bits and pieces and seen a few things in shared universes before where you've got something like this. Think of Ant-Man, where they realize how dangerous the thing is, and he just goes, why don't I get the Avengers? There's a very good reason why the original Ant-Man doesn't want Stark involved. So it's blacked out straight away. And this one, Superman just isn't around. Now, it could just be that they don't want Superman to be there because he could just solve everything, in which case, why even bring it up? Yes, you could say verisimilitude in the fact that Batman would love where Clark is, but I think if it doesn't feed into the story and doesn't make the story effective, why put it in there? So they have put it in there, so it might be something to do with the story. This is either going to be Superman turning up at the end and saving everything, which is pointless and why have a Batman comic book, that's what you're going to do, or it could mean Superman is involved in it, has some kind of responsibility, and is hiding for various reasons. That would be far more interesting. I don't know where it's going to go, but I think it could go the wrong way. Because the writing in this is a little bit spotty. I don't mean terrible, like there's some genuinely cool dialogue, and there's some actual funny bits in here, shared between a few different people. There's some really nice moments of tenderness between characters, but it also doesn't seem to understand quite how the moral grey area of Batman being a billionaire beating up mentally ill poor people is not necessarily a good thing, but also he does do good things, and he could be seen as an avenging hero. It kind of ignores all these grey areas by effectively just coming down on the side of I am Batman. If I do something or if I say something is the way it is that way, or it is right to do it that way because I am Batman. He sees people in a global blackout breaking into electronic stores and stealing things, and he laments the fact that they're only doing it because of the way they've been badly sold the American dream, but also they should be allowed to do it, and it's not really up to him to worry about an electronic store's bottom line. They have insurance for that kind of thing. Completely forgetting that quite often if the insurance is too expensive, they'll just call it a loss, close down businesses, people lose jobs, and people become destitute. Totally forgets all that kind of thing. When people break into his house at the beginning, he just knocks on them and comes straight away because, yes, they are bad people. They broke into his house. But when he finds out one of them's doing he's got 5 kids, he tries to find out if these kids are actually a real thing or if it's just a guy saying it to get off a little bit easier. But if he does have the 5 kids, he's going to do something with his institutions and all that because he's a rich white guy and he is trying to save people because he has a savior complex. There's a lot of grey within Batman. He was created to be an avenging hero in a world where we kind of should be rooting for him. even though he does extrajudicial violent retribution. And I feel like not quite grasping hold of that grayness, instead of just being like, everything's fine, I am Batman, I say fine. I'm not entirely sure that is a great take on the character. A lot of fun to be had on the way, but sadly not my favorite thing I've read this week. That's it for me today, though. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.